face to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
This is a good night, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And we all have on our tuxedos. Champagne is being poured as we speak because it's time for the Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the inaugural class.
That's right. This is the thing.
I like how we just jumped into it. We've just constructed a Hall of Fame.
Well, it's like,
And we're
some
sitting here
people
in
say,
rented tuxedos.
Like, maybe not in actual physicalness, but some people might say in the mind and in the heart right now.
Yeah.
This is a Hall of Fame, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's long overdue.
Yeah, we're sitting here in Vegas right now.
Yeah. We got the same hotel room that the Adult Film Awards usually
Yeah,
gets.
We're at
in
the El Cortez.
Yeah, we're at the Flamingo right now, eating shrimp cocktail
Yep.
and receiving the inaugural. Well, actually deciding the inaugural members of the.
We're distributing. We're not receiving. That downtown part of Vegas is so fucked up. That Fremont Street shit.
Oh, that's always where I stay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I saw one of the greatest things I've ever seen on Fremont Street, and then we'll get into our awards, but this show is all about side tangents, so here we go. I was walking down Fremont Street, and you know how every hour on the hour they have a big show where
The Fremont Street Experience.
Right, where they'll show things on the Fremont Street, if you don't know, is a street in downtown Las Vegas where they have basically all the casinos have bonded together, and so their lights will come on and off at once, and it's all this kind of synchronized
It's
thing.
where the cowboy used to thumb, whose arm doesn't thumb no more.
Yeah.
But now there's a canopy over that whole street, and the street's blocked off, so there's no cars come through.
Yeah,
now.
and the canopy is like it's basically a giant video screen that goes over the street, and sometimes they'll have like killer whales floating above you, and sometimes there's
an hourly show, which is often either A, Pinball Wizard, or B, the latest Green Day record.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: at midnight, the way that old TV stations used to do, they would do their big sign off with the national anthem. And I was walking, and all of a sudden it's the patriotic display. That's the midnight show. And these on the video screen above, these jets fly over, just and you hear the national anthem starting. And there was a lady, and it's not a street that you can drive cars on. It's just a walking street. But there was a woman in the middle of the street with one of those yard-long drinks in her hands, like the long drinks, just kind of like rolling around, just singing along to God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. It starts off with the national anthem, and then she's just going, and surely stand up next to you. And it had never been.
You're surprised to see this in
you're
Vegas?
surprised to see that.
I wasn't surprised to see it. I put my hand on my heart and I said, I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Well, I mean, God bless America, because this is what you get when you go to Las Vegas.
That's what it is.
That's what we come here for.
I think
Not necessarily to do it.
the better patriotic display in Vegas is the person with the yard long cup, drinking their alcoholic yard on their rascal scooter with the American flag.
Yeah.
On it, and then crashing into palm trees. And,
I saw someone with a yard drink bungeed to their fucking their Vespa.
Yeah.
Actively drinking and driving.
No, man, I'll tell you this, man. If y'all have one of them hover rounds or whatever they call them, those Segway, whatever, do not put the flag on them and do not make this country look weak.
My favorite is this was a thing that was always like a site whenever you'd go to spring break and stuff, which, I lived at spring break.
Yeah.
Is when they have the big yard long glasses and the guys get into fights and they try and hit each other with the yard glasses. These are heavy, but they're plastic. It's not like a yard glass. It's like a yard solo cup.
Yeah.
And they swing them around like they're Donatello staff, and they all just burst into a million pieces or fold over. They're like, God, kiss my ass, mother! And they just hit each other, and it's the weakest looking thing.
Fuck you, Donnie!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about beer glass beatdowns tonight.
Because it's the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
And that's how we celebrate.
Yeah, we're pouring champagne into a yard-long cup.
And we're putting peanuts in it.
Yeah. So this is this is an idea we've been kicking around for a couple of weeks now of doing that Pat came up with that I think is such a cool idea.
Yeah.
We're gonna induct the inaugural class of the Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame tonight.
Right.
So we're going to talk about some people, some bands, some it's just concepts, entities, stuff we like.
Feelings, emotions.
Yeah, I'm going to induct sadness into the Hall of
This
Fame.
is fairly abstract.
Yeah.
I'm going to induct. Actually, with me, it's more. I'm going to induct hunger into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hunger is my favorite. My favorite feeling.
Yeah,
to get rid of.
and there's no limits.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we can do whatever. So we're going to do the inaugural class here.
And then every week we're going to induct
We're going to induct
new member.
somebody new. So that'll be a recurring segment on the show you can look forward to. But this week we're going to go in depth with our first round selections.
Yeah, and we're going to nominate 3 people each, and you're going to see the active voting process. Well, you might see some horse trading, you might see some politicking.
Yeah.
But there's going to be inductees, there's going to be snubs.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that don't make the vote, and that's the thing that's at the heart of every Hall of Fame.
But one thing it's not going to be is a star chamber, because you're going to hear it right up on this show right now.
That's right.
Like the Nixon tapes. You understand?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And just to start out, we have one unanimous person that's going to be
Right. Here, our Andre.
Our Andre.
So if you don't know, the WWF, now WWE Hall of Fame, when it started, it was actually started in 1993 when Andre the Giant died. There was no Hall of Fame, and there still isn't a physical location. But when Andre died, Vince was like, well, Andre's in the Hall of Fame. And they're like, people were like, what's the Hall of Fame? Like, I don't know. Well, Andre's in it. So for us,
Andre's gonna be in it.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna put Pete Rose in it.
Yeah.
Because goddamn, that'd be funny, pal.
Oh, we're going to give it to Drew Carey.
Don't you get it? Because Pete Rose isn't in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
So it'll be in ours.
So it'll be in the goddamn WWF Hall of Fame.
You might up in the good ones, too.
Yeah. But yeah, so our just absolutely for sure in it, our 1993 pick.
I mean, it's the namesake of the show.
And people have asked, it's funny because we go over this pretty well, I thought, in episode 1, but people still ask, like, why is it called The Goods from the Woods? It's because of our first inductee said it under his breath and under a mountain of cocaine on one of the episodes of
Through
Future
layers of PCP sweat.
Yes.
The one and only James Brown
the Godfather of Soul.
uttered the phrase, coming from the woods to deliver the goods.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. The song that appeared on every episode of James Brown Future Shock at
This
least
was the
twice.
opening of Future Shock, usually.
And people would dance to it again, you know?
Yeah, every Friday night for anywhere from what we can tell, best guess, 4 to 7 years on WTBS.
Yeah, and even though the tapes have been ruined, there's only a few.
Ole Anderson ruined them, I think, through poor storage in his garage.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, I mentioned to you I had a group on my tour recently, and I mentioned I was a wrestling fan, and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, my business partner, we run a woodworking business. Ole Anderson's his dad." So. There's that. So somewhere in Georgia, Ole Anderson's son's building cabinets.
Yeah, but this isn't about Ole Anderson's son. This isn't about Alan Rogowski Jr. What this is about is James Brown.
Yeah.
And he is the person that brought the name to this podcast.
Yep.
He's the one that
He inspires us every day.
inspires us every day.
Because James Brown has, like, the arc of his career, he had every bit of it. Like, every aspect of just living. That guy did it from, he was a criminal. He did time. He stole cars.
But he stopped riots.
But he stopped riots. Yeah, that's the thing. He then became one of the greatest musical
He's
artists
the
of all
hardest
time.
working man in showbiz.
Hell yeah. And he stopped
We'll look over the supporting Richard Nixon part, but,
Hey,
Well, it doesn't, just because they can dance and sing doesn't mean that, they have a brain for
well,
politics.
shit, at this point, hell, I'd take Richard Nixon over what's fucking going on now, but that's a whole different point. We're not bringing any negativity to the Hall of Fame.
The thing was that he was high on God,
And then he was high on PCP.
And then did a car chase. He created a great show.
He was a minister too.
He appeared on wrestling pay-per-views at the end of his career.
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like this is the whole arc. This guy embodies this
He
entire
had a musical
show.
montage in Rocky IV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done it all.
That's right.
And I think what Sinatra said, that Ray Charles was the only true genius in show business.
Yeah.
I would agree, but I think I'd factor in James Brown.
I would
too.
talk James Brown too. Yeah.
Little Richard's pretty high up there too.
Yeah, Little Richard's. I mean, look, I would not take anything away from Ray, Richard, or Frank for that matter. I mean, hell, Frank had a long, interesting life too. But not nearly the diversity of James Brown.
I mean, essentially, James Brown rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Brown's amazing, and he has to be the ultimate.
Oh,
James Brown
Never.
emitted music just by the vibration of living.
Yeah.
And he's even got the cops coming for him in this very song.
I know. This guy.
They're gonna get him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for stealing those David Bowie riffs.
Man, yeah, James Brown is
Great artist steal.
absolutely.
Genius.
That's why we stole our title
That's
from
right.
him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And now it's ours.
Yeah, he.
What's that? Greatness borrows, genius steals, or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is genius. Not to blow our own horns, because God knows if we could blow our own horns, we wouldn't leave the house, you understand? But it really was genius
Yeah.
to steal this.
But yeah, man, James Brown.
James Brown is
a number one with a bullet going in easily going in unanimous.
Yeah.
That's our first pick. Not even up for a discussion, just because.
Even though we discussed it, because this is the goods from the woods, so we have to talk a long time about every tangent.
Oh yeah, for
I know,
sure.
yeah.
Well, no, I guess
This is the most Herodotean show
Yeah.
that you can find out
We're
there.
very
You understand?
detail oriented.
Yeah.
And
Extremely.
So I guess what I should have said, no discussion, but no argument.
No argument, no.
None of us. We definitely discussed. Nobody argued.
Yeah, it's like, when they were going to put, like, I think it was like Christy Matheson is like the first MLB Hall of Famer, I think it was, or it was either Christy Matheson or somebody, that there was like one person that they're like, okay, this is the ultimate Hall of Famer. Or
Who?
something.
I don't even know. Wait, for MLB specifically, or just
I
the
think it
Baseball
was
Hall of Fame?
the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Who is Christy? Is that like a? I don't even know who that is.
He was
The
a
Baseball
pitcher.
Hall of Fame goes way back.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like 1936, I believe, was the first class. It was either 36, I think it was, and like Christy Mathewson was a pitcher for the New York Giants, and he
okay.
was like kind of the dominant pitcher of his era.
Okay.
But the first class was Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Hannes Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so that was like the first like kind of agreed upon class of people that they would put in.
Yeah.
So James Brown embodies all.
Yeah. He's our Honus Wagner.
He is our Honus Wagner.
Yeah.
He is.
He's our black Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
Well, they're both from Georgia.
They're both.
I
From,
know. He's from Augusta, too, which is a wonderful place.
Yeah. But yeah, James Brown is our first ballot.
Yeah.
Definitely in there. So. Yeah.
But what we're gonna do is we each have 3 nominees, and we are going to give our case for the nominees, our own nominees, and of our 3 nominees that we individually have, 2 of them are getting in. 1 is not going to make it.
Yeah.
So what we are going to do is make the case, and construct the first class.
All right. Well, let's hear a little bit of "Hot" by our first member, and we'll be right back.
Do you want to sing?
This morning I woke up all in heat. Couldn't find no dry spot from my head down to my feet. And I started thinking about your sexy body.
Good
Golly,
Make the trip. It's a make it
yeah. I started thinking, make you sweat. Yeah.
I wasn't even listening to headphones, so I didn't even know what match. That was awful.
There's only one Godfather of Soul.
Yeah.
And apparently he ain't here tonight.
Yeah. Well, I went off of the James Brown Future Shock meter.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
I think it was probably a little bit. I don't want to say like the three tenors, but I will.
Yeah.
As long as I can be Pavarotti.
All right.
All right, Pat. Who was your first nominee?
Oh, I got to go first. Well, okay.
You're the forlorn hope.
Yes, indeed. So my first nominee for the Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame is a man who is little known outside of those of us who had late bedtimes. You know, he inspired us to make investments in certain collectibles.
Oh yeah.
That might lead us to one day open a baseball card store, a Beanie Baby store, become a small business owner, an entrepreneur. This man is full of exuberance, maybe other chemicals as well. This man, master of ad-libbing, master of baseball card swimming, Don West.
Don West.
Don West. For those of you that don't know, Don West hosted Sports Collectibles or the Collectibles Shop at Home.
It was like the Guy Stuff cable shopping network.
And it was
when that was the big thing in the 90s.
And he is endlessly imitatable.
Yeah.
And it's just he's so great.
We should hear a little bit of Don West. This is from 1998. This is Don West selling Christmas themed Beanie Babies.
Already pulled the sample. That's how few of these we have. SF8228. Here we go. We are going to do this now.
He's got a mullet and a Hawaiian shirt.
This guy always has a mullet. Always has a Hawaiian shirt.
But only sometimes has the mustache.
Sometimes has a mustache.
That's one of the big issues in Don West, with or without the mustache.
Yeah. We're going to give you peace. We're going to give you glory. We're going to give you Princess Aaron, Valentino, Curly, and Blackie and Cubby. And
Wait, hold on. Was there a Beanie Baby called Blackie?
Yeah, it was a black bear, yeah.
Oh, God.
There was also Valentino after the silent movie star.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Nobody caught that. Nobody was like, hey, maybe don't.
That was just a cute little black bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got grizzly. We got grizzlies and we have them on stretch pay.
Because the thing was with Don West was that he was a fair man and he allowed us to make our dreams come true, to have enough cards to start a card store.
The biggest, baddest dream store ever.
Yeah. And to do it by installments without, oh my God.
This is the baseball blowout extravaganza.
Which isn't what you think it is.
Last chance. For those of you, $99, you better get online. Unbelievable. And if that happens,
that is a cool deal.
all right. Last
Was that
call
Eddie
on
Lewis,
these.
his co-host?
Now,
Just so
we're gonna
much,
go to a
so many
brand
beer
new
bellies.
I want some good polo shirts,
Yeah.
man.
deal.
That one looks like it's made out of an old carpet bag.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely a Ralph Lauren chaps.
Right now, if you're in the Chicago area and you're watching,
Eddie, did you buy that at Goodies? Did you buy it at Goodies? Or did you buy it at Mervin's?
Did you get it on stretch pay?
to Donruss Factory Set.
There's nothing better.
Donruss.
There's nothing better than a grown man exuberantly yelling the word Donruss.
Upper deck. Upper deck. And we're giving them to you. Mint.
Yeah, so if you
Don West risked a brain aneurysm every time he talked
Yeah,
on
he
TV
stretched-
for you.
so
to
that
save
you would know
money.
that it would be Gem Mint 10.
And we're giving it to you. Mint. Mint. Oh, golly.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where one of the greatest clips on YouTube is him flubbing and knocking over a monster box of baseball cards, and all of them are just like just junk, because that's the scheme. Like they'll throw in a couple of good ones, but most of it's just like, pro set, like rock star cards and stuff like that.
But we're giving you Cal Ripken rookies.
But he knocks over the monster box and he's just like, oh my God, I messed this up. What do I do? There's cards all over the place. And he just, in a flash, does one of the greatest movements ever picked up on YouTube, and that is, you can literally swim in these cards. And then he proceeds to do a freestyle stroke, planking on a pile of, 86
it was so
86
good.
to 92 Fleer common
It was
cards.
so good, too, because Don West was one of those people that would really abuse the meaning of the word literally. But he would this time effortlessly. And you can literally swim in them.
Literally, you can swim in them. Look at this. That's how. Look at this. We got cards all over the place.
But the thing that was amazing was that, like, just imagine having like a Scrooge McDuck like vault full of just common cards. Matt Noakes rookie cards, and Luis Polonia cards, and Ron Karkovice cards. But the thing was, the selling point was like, you could start your own dream store. A dream store. This guy wants to stimulate small business. That's why I'm nominating him.
And he's currently the sales director of Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
He had a pro wrestling career
but
later.
this isn't about the pro wrestling thing. This is about
This made him a legend in the 90s.
him being the ultimate salesman. And it's one of those things where he's known somewhat as being, what's his measurables? 5'9", 281 pounds. There you go. Big man.
Big man.
He was
Big
parodying on Saturday Night Live.
But poorly.
It was fair. It was very generic.
Yeah. This guy is a self-parody. There's no way that you could parody this man. He's without irony.
You know what I think
He's without irony. He's beyond irony.
I think the parody was poor because it came early in, and so they didn't really distinguish between Don and co-host Eddie Lewis.
Yeah. And it was also part of a huge sports memorabilia scam too, like a counterfeiting scam, which makes it even better. It has a criminal element to it too.
He got sued. Him and remember Kenny?
Yeah. Kenny. Yeah, he's
the retailer that would just yell in, "Hey, you've got to give it to him. It's worth $5,000. Look, if you don't want to save money, I'm not going to help you." And we're literally giving him mint, Kenny.
That's the thing. Mint cards. You could get the Honus Wagner T206 card that sold at auction for $2.3 million. You can do that. You can open a pack and make all your dreams come true and get a dream store.
This is literally like getting a signed bat from Babe Ruth that says the Bambino.
This is literally like being George Washington.
This is literally like dying and raising from the dead. If you don't buy one, Lazarus. If you don't buy one, you're going to hell. And I mean literally.
You switch over to the Trinity Broadcast Network, and he's just on there too in a row.
I'm on here too. Salvation. We're literally giving it to you for free.
One easy step. Just give your life to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Don West.
On stretch pay.
Because I mean that's what indulgences were for the most part.
Indulgences.
It was salvation on stretch pay. The second one I have is the entire card on the 1993 WCW Fall Brawl. Okay. Based around the episode that we did
53,
we did with Nick, which ended up being the most boring wrestling show.
Oh my God, yeah.
In history.
The episode was fun. I actually went back and listened to it recently. I did a remaster if you want to go check it out. The episode's a lot of fun, but goddamn, that show was boring.
There was such highlights as Jesse Ventura being dressed as Rob Halford, essentially.
Yep.
A lot of boring matches. Big Sky versus Chief Charlie Norris.
Wasn't that the one with the really bad Ric Flair, Rick Rude match?
Yes. And it also has the Shockmaster's debut.
Yep.
It has the Shockmaster's first match. And I was originally going to say the Shockmaster as being the nominee. And we could amend this to being the Shockmaster.
Right.
But I would say just for the memories of sitting around and just being like, all right, this is going to be so bad. And we're going to get so much out of this. And this is going to be an amazing show. And then afterwards just being like, we got nothing.
Yeah,
this was absolutely positively boring.
Whatever you made to eat though was really good.
Pizza, right?
Pat made homemade pizza, and I brought pumpkin bread.
Yeah, we ate real good.
It was a good day of eating.
Yeah, it was a deep dish pizza that I made on the barbecue.
That's right.
But it was, we were so pumped. We were just ready to see something that could be pilloried endlessly.
Yeah.
But there was nothing. It was just like the Equalizer. It was like I don't remember the card, but it was just like the most boring thing we ever watched.
The Special Olympics kid did like an interview during it, and it was probably one of the better conducted interviews.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
who did he interview? Like Johnny B. Bad or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. And he was better than every backstage person they had.
The match with Too Cold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell. Against the Equalizer and Paul Orndorff, that was like hideous. The Equalizer basically was like running into things. Like he was just like hitting his head on everything. And then Ice Train, yeah. I mean, come on.
What the hell is an ice train?
You know, it's it's like that train from those Coors Light commercials. That's what the Ice Train is. So yeah, 1993 Fall Brawl is
Fall Brawl.
Fall Brawl.
Fall Brawl.
To Steinerize it.
Yeah. Fall Brawl!
Were you for fracking my face?
Oh, wait. The best part is when that weird spot they do to Sting in the War Games where they've got the cage over the two rings and somebody just kind of lifts Sting up by his hips like he's a fucking ballerina and smushes his head into the top of the thing.
that was amazing.
And he sells it like he's just been hit in the face with a fucking stop sign.
I know, yeah. Booker T. It was like Booker T and Sid.
Yeah.
Both.
They're like, we're going to put him in the roof.
And that was also the night when Sting had the best butt in the business.
That's right. We did rate the butts. That's a good
how good
episode.
the match was.
Yeah,
That's a good episode.
Man, Sting has a good ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sting
not
had
saying I'm attracted to him, but saying a guy's got a good butt.
Sting had a good butt.
He really did.
He was wearing the white tights. Yeah, his butt was solid.
Only the Lord can give you a butt like that.
Yeah, I know.
So if y'all believe, ladies.
With those, Stinger, the stagecoach boots and the butt.
Yeah.
Sting's butt was solid.
Mick Foley was also there.
His butt was Dan Aykroyd like.
Well, yeah. He had the Dan Aykroyd butt, and he was cutting a promo in front of the posters for the Smashing Pumpkins record.
Yeah, because he was
Dream.
Because he had amnesia.
Yeah,
right?
Amnesia,
Yeah.
and he was like a kind of business casual Mick Foley there, and
that was the good old days when that was Billy Corgan's only involvement in wrestling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Missy Hyatt fell out of her top.
That's
in
right.
that one match, yeah. And Paul Roma was in it, and
Romeo Roma,
he's the man, dude. Yep. So 1993 Fall Brawl. If you want to focus it a little bit more, we could put the Shockmaster in. Okay. My third is going to be a controversial one, but I would like to champion these guys as being possible inductees, given the fact that we've talked about them. We've tried to dismiss the stigma of around these men.
Yeah.
Goodnight is a hard sell on this. The Insane Clown Posse.
Oh boy. Oh man. Coming out of Detroit.
Yeah.
There's no way I'd let them in without an asterisk. I'll tell you that right there, because there's no way they're going in with my vote.
And I mean, I give them the nod because the Insane Clown Posse, they got to get something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to get some sort of
they're sure as hell not winning a Grammy.
Repute. Recognition.
Yeah.
By being in a Hall of Fame, lend them the cultural capital necessary, because people give them a bad because these are just guys. They were called a gang. They were called a gang by the FBI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are just a couple of dudes that just love generic soda.
Yeah.
They enjoy making their dreams come true. Grew up in the trailer park. And, they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
They know who they are. They're self-aware. And they should be put in the Hall of Fame for self-awareness alone.
And the one thing, and unlike fucking Kid Rock, who said he was straight out the trailer. He's from the fucking suburbs.
Yeah.
These dudes are legitimately from a trailer.
They still suck, so none of this matters.
Oh
There's
God.
no way they're getting in without an asterisk. If they get in, that's fine, but I will not allow it without an asterisk because I will not vote for them. And I promise I won't do that with anyone else that's ever nominated, but I will not. I will not. Me and my friends once debated, would you go out with a girl if she was a daughter of Hitler or Heinrich Himmler or someone like that? And my boy Johnny Loftus, he said, depends. Is she a juggalo? And that is the standard that I vibe to, you understand?
I can't speak too much for juggalos, right? Like, because they were kind of like an isolated group of individuals that would hang out at a certain place in the mall, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you listen to interviews with Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J. Solid dudes. Solid guys.
When I was in high school, there was a kid who was maybe 2 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
And I was talking shit about the Insane Clown Posse, and he was way smaller than me.
Yeah.
Like, I was a big fucking kid. Still
You
am.
look like Tom. You look like Terry Gordy.
Yeah. And this kid was way tinier than me, and I was talking shit about juggalos, and he was like, "Hey, man, listen, I'm a juggalo. Now, I'm not going to do anything." But I know some guys who would probably cut your head off. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Juggalos didn't exist when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I grew up in what's literally known now as the good old days. So we didn't have these problems.
And I ain't doing this ironically or anything like that.
Yeah.
The Insane Clown Posse is my third nominee. I have a feeling that they're not going to get in because of Goodnight's close-mindedness.
I don't care.
And snobbery.
I'm like Jess Ventura. I tell it like it is. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass what music is culturally. I just look at it whether or not it sucks. And it sucks. And I don't care if they're nice guys.
Yeah. All right.
Billy Joel could be the nicest guy on earth, and I can't stand his shit.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a feeling
I have the cans off at this point.
the vote's already been cast, it seems like. So
I might still vote for it. Who knows?
Okay,
as long as there's an asterisk.
Well, no, so we have to get y'all's votes. Based on mine, because I can't vote for myself because I would put all of them in.
So there's only two of us, so there's no tiebreaker.
Well, the tiebreaker could be.
This is confusing.
We can find some other tiebreaker.
Yeah,
we can find something if it goes. So Don West, in or out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. For
Don West is in.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Don West.
The 1993 Fall Brawl.
See, it gets a lot of people that I like in there. You get Cactus Jack. You would get Stinger. You would get Dusty Rhodes. You would get Ric Flair. I mean, that puts a bunch of people I like into the Hall of Fame. I don't know. What do you think? Good night.
Well, we all know I don't like number 3. I like this on principle.
Yeah.
But I do fear that doing it this way could just lead to like a flood of things.
Yeah.
Alternately, we can put the Shockmaster in.
I'm all for that.
Just the Shockmaster.
Just the Shockmaster.
I'm in favor. Let's do the Shockmaster.
Okay, and then
the star of Fall Brawl 93. Let's be realistic.
So the Shockmaster for creating the greatest YouTube clip of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
Alongside Don West being number 2. And the Insane Clown Posse, I sense some.
Well, I give you guys credit. But we're all buddies on this show. Everybody knows that, but we don't agree on everything. Yeah. And there are certain things I can't endorse, and that's just one of them. I can't abide, man.
Sorry, Shaggy. Sorry, Violent J. But we could get you in later on.
The other Shaggy I would let in,
like.
But the murderer, I'm the lyrical gangster. Or was that Ani Kamosi?
No, it's Ani Kamosi.
Well, I would let Shaggy. Shaggy wasn't me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be first ballot with me.
Well, then there we go.
I like him.
He wouldn't be with me.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right, that's fine. If it was Ani Kamosi, sure. Yeah. So we are going to induct the Don West,
and
the Shockmaster.
That's right.
Because we don't even need to describe the Shockmaster. If you don't know what the Shockmaster is,
you haven't been listening to the show.
You better recognize.
Yeah, and you probably suck.
Yeah.
Oh man, hell yeah. Well,
see, it's already been heated.
Yeah. So I guess Rivers is next. That's usually the trajectory that we go in.
Yeah. So my first person that I'm going to nominate is actually a person I mentioned in the last episode. The president after Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft. I think that William Howard Taft is one of the most fascinating men who's ever taken office. Because he had to absorb. What's going on, Pat? You don't like this one?
You're gonna have to sell me on this.
He fired Gifford Pinchot. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Theodore Roosevelt does his 2 terms. At that time, there's nothing saying that he couldn't run for a 3rd term, but out of deference for George Washington and the tradition that he set in the tradition, I guess, of Cincinnatus of the Roman Empire, going back to be a gentleman farmer, Theodore Roosevelt decided, I'm going to do the same thing.
Well, George was
a gentleman,
actually
big game.
Yeah, but
hunter.
the thing is that George would have died in office, right? If he took that
George
third term.
Washington?
Yeah.
George
I
was
guess
sort
so.
of a reluctant president.
Yeah.
He died in 1799.
And he was
Yeah.
a great man. Make no mistake. I admire him. And he knew how to fight, too.
Yeah, hell yeah. But my point is that he set the tradition. A lot of people, because, if you've noticed, nobody knows anything about government anymore. There was actually no law until after Franklin Roosevelt that you couldn't have more than 2 terms. So there was actually nothing stopping Theodore Roosevelt from seeking a 3rd term. But instead of doing that, he decided instead to basically hand appoint somebody who he trusted, which was William Howard Taft, who was a congressman from Ohio, a state congressman from Ohio, and he had a gigantic ass and was the fattest man.
Taft spelled sideways as fat, really, with 2 T's.
Yeah. He was
The fattest president.
That's why
When it comes to presidency, he put a little ass on it.
hell yeah. He was the Rikishi of presidents.
He gave us the 7th inning stretch, they say.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
right. Yeah, because he had to, that's how long it took him to get in and out of the men's bathroom stall.
Well, you can say what you want about all the different presidents, but my ass appreciates William Howard Taft every time I go to a ball game, especially if I'm in the bleachers.
Yeah, he was, he was just a fascinating guy. Never really, I mean, it was, he had the role sort of thrust upon him in a lot of ways. He was definitely not nearly as charismatic as Theodore Roosevelt. And Theodore Roosevelt is actually somebody who I think is going to be an easy shoo-in later on down the road. So I wasn't going to take Roosevelt. The other guy I considered was Chester A. Arthur.
I like him.
I do too.
I would kill Garfield just to get him into this Hall of Fame.
Are we about to play Fuck, Marry, Kill, TR, Garfield, and Taft?
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, William Howard Taft was, he was the famous thing that everybody knows about him is that he got stuck in the bathtub. They had to make the bathtubs in the White House bigger for this guy. So now the bathtubs in the White House are fucking huge, so that nobody can get stuck in them anymore. So that is unfortunate that's the thing that he is
that's
known
actually
for.
true. That's not apocryphal because there were a lot of Taft fat jokes, like the time he stood up on a streetcar and offered his seat to 2 ladies.
Nah, that's funny.
This is actual stuff they would say back then.
Yeah, well, no, the bathtub one is not apocryphal. From what I understand, the last time I at least according to it's either that it's so apocryphal that the White House tour just says it all the time. Because I went on a tour of the White House maybe 15, 20 years ago, and that was one of the things they mentioned on the tour. So I'm like, well, if it's
The
bullshit.
Taft bathtub.
The bathtub story is like, oh, we have a huge bathtub. The Taft tub. Yeah, that we have a huge bathtub. The thing that I like him just as a big man myself. It is fantastic to see one of our guys get up there. He is also
last mustachioed president.
That was what I was about to say. He is the last president to have facial hair.
And we can respect that on this podcast.
If anybody can.
A lot of face fuzz on this podcast.
The 3 guys sitting in this room, he was the last guy with facial hair. After that, Woodrow Wilson came in there clean shaven, and we never saw any facial hairs.
I blame the
since.
19th Amendment.
The closest thing that we've had since then was when Al Gore grew his sad beard after he lost in 2000. So even though I guess since he won the popular vote, I guess we could sort of sideways count that as a presidential beard.
Did
but
Ronald
not really.
Reagan have a mustache in some movie?
Did he really?
Did he ever have a little Errol Flynn one?
I don't know.
I know
Probably
that was,
not.
Yeah,
Probably
I've
not.
never seen that, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. That would be amazing.
I think I have him confused with Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
Because they were in a movie together. Little Santa Fe Trail.
Obama had like some badass like 70s sideburns at one point. You'll
Yeah.
see
That would count.
But I'm saying like in office facial hair is what I mean by that. Yeah.
I'm sure all the World War II guys grew a decent like Pacific Theater beard.
Oh
if I'm
yeah,
not-
for
yeah.
sure. I'm sure Harry Truman had some crazy shit happen.
But I have to.
the PT-109 stubble.
Oh
whatever.
god, dude! Imagine how sexy JFK would be with a beard. That'd be ridiculous.
Put me on that island with Marilyn Monroe, and I'm not sending no coconuts nowhere else, man.
And the thing is that having somebody with a mustache or a beard in politics now is a rarity. You know, where it's like
even now it's weird.
Angus King's got a mustache.
Yeah.
He might actually be Ted Turner. We don't know. We don't know. Same guy. Who knows?
But the last little thing
Nobody's talking about it.
Yep. The last little thing I'll mention about Taft is that he ended up gaining tons of weight while he was in office because it's obviously a very stressful job, and
He's like Jim Cornette, and he goes to Wendy's.
yeah, double cheeseburger, double mayo, motherfucker.
I was drinking so much goddamn Pepsi every day because Jim Hurd was pissing me the fuck off. And let me tell you something, bitch Russo. I don't care if I have to live to be 98 years old. This is why I'm drinking this water. I can outlive you by one day so I can take a whiz on your fucking gravestone.
I'm gonna bust this truster. My name ain't William Howard Taft.
That's not a bad corny, Pat. We just discovered this now. Pat's Hall of Fame Cornette imitation.
But once he got out of office, he is also the only president ever to serve as a president and then also the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, which was actually the job that he wanted. He had wanted that
but didn't he
job
do a lot
forever.
of stinky things?
Yeah, but I'm ending this at the White
And
House.
isn't his fatness overrated? Because Grover Cleveland seemed to have been up there in girth. too.
Yeah. Grover Cleveland was big too. But his statement upon leaving office, William Howard Taft said, "The best 2 days of my life were the first day I was the president and the last." So
It's like he was a boat owner.
yeah. Exactly, yeah. But yeah, and, he went out when Theodore Roosevelt decided he did not approve of the job Taft was doing, created the Bull Moose Party, split the Republican ticket, and got Woodrow Wilson in there. For
And the rest is literally history.
Yeah, exactly. But he's just a guy I've always, when you're sitting in a class, he's a guy that doesn't
Or
ever
a
get,
small bathtub, you think of him.
Yeah,
And he did put the smackdown on Williams Jennings Bryan,
that's right.
which is always
William Jennings Bryan is not a loser, man. He's the Charlie Brown of the, post-Civil War Democrats.
But it's Taft is one of those guys when you're sitting there in a classroom. The best history classes I ever had were the ones that had the pictures of all the presidents going around the room, and you'd always look at him and you're like, who's that guy? Because they're people they would never talk about. And Taft and Arthur were the two that I was always.
Benjamin Harrison, I thought, was the most obscure.
Yeah, he's pretty obscure. He's the only president from Indiana. Too.
But he's a what's
Grandson
his name?
of William Howard Taft,
who?
yeah.
No.
William
William Henry
Henry
Harrison,
Harrison.
who was only in office 30 days and was more memorable than
That's
Benjamin.
right.
He was hidden between the two Grover Clevelands.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So my first.
He was a Civil War general too.
That's right. Yeah. My first entry to the nomination to the Hall of Fame, William Howard Taft. So my second pick, this one is a singer. He's from Georgia. He passed away in 1993. He is one of the greats, and most people probably don't know anything about this guy. He called himself the last great minstrel man, and his name was Abner Jay. And he was a guy that would travel around Georgia in a converted Airstream trailer that had all of his instruments, and he was a one-man band. And he recorded a bunch of stuff that is just now getting re-released on Mississippi Records, which is a really cool record label out of Portland, where they basically just find super old weird shit
Esoteric,
and esoteric stuff and put it back out. And they have a record called One Man Band, and then there's another record called The True Story of Abner Jay. And the thing I like about him, he was he billed himself as a minstrel man. He was also a fantastic liar. He would tell people like that he was born into slavery and stuff, and he died in 1993, so there's no fucking way. And he played a 6-string banjo, which I love, and he claimed that his 6-string banjo was 300 years old and all this shit. Like he had all this
This guy rules.
fucking rules, man. Abner Jay is the best. And I want you to hear some of his music because, like, the only way I can really describe it, and this is going to sound lofty as fuck, he does the Bob Dylan thing of, like, this is every genre of American music happening at once. Like that, what Bob Dylan called the wild electric Mercury. Just like,
okay, I know what you mean.
This is just fucking everything was leading up to this. So you can check out two of these records, and like one of my favorite things is that he always has, not always, but always, often has dirty jokes at the beginning of all of his songs.
What's 6 inches long and has 2 nuts on the end? An almond joy, silly. What is it a man take out of his pants, put in a hole and push it with his belly? A subway token. What do you give an elephant with diarrhea? Plenty of room. Give me another damn drink.
He has several songs that are alternately titled either Cocaine or Cocaine Blues that are all different. So he was real into that. But this one's called I'm So Depressed.
You know they're going to stop making them king-size cigarettes and start making a queen-size because it's got a bigger butt. Do you know why elephants don't smoke? Because they can't get their butts in the ashtray. I know a boy who took his girl out on the country road the other day. Stopped his car and took his key out. Says to his gal, now you gonna be like a camel and walk a mile, like a Chesterfield that's satisfied. He said,
It's cigarette ads.
Whether it's king size or regular, Daddy.
This guy's awesome.
Why isn't this guy showing up at open mics?
I would steal his shit. It's too bad everybody listen to it now. I'll be out there hurting my elephant butt material.
But after Dirty Jokes, he's just got this incredible voice. Oh my God, Abner Jay's the shit. But this is the Dylan thing I was talking about. Like this shit just sounds like Dylan. But this song, I love it. This one doesn't have a joke at the beginning of it, but it's called The Reason Young People Use Drugs, and it's pretty fantastic.
It really sounds like Dylan.
It really does. Except this is all him. This is the drums you hear.
Oh, all at once.
That's him playing the banjo. That's the 6-string banjo you hear.
The reason young people use drugs, they are hungry, tired, and fed up.
But yeah, so I love Abner Jay because he's got a great voice. His songs kick ass, and he's got dirty jokes at the beginning of all of them.
Did Bob Dylan ever hear this guy?
That's the thing. I think at some point either he heard Dylan or Dylan heard him, but he predates Dylan a little bit. Like he started working in the early 60s. So before, he's an
evolutionary antecedent.
Yes,
but I think the thing that's important is that evolution is a mystery.
Nobody sees it.
And his catchphrase is terrible things. There's many Abner Jay songs that start off with him just going terrible things. So this is Royal Palm.
Terrible things always happen. The terrible thing that happened to me was the time I got married. I was gonna have my wife's face lift, but I don't have no jacket. I remember one day I stole her only brazil and left her flat. So we went down to the marriage bureau for the license, and they asked, did her parents consent? I said, who the hell you think that out there with that shotgun? Daniel Boone? Night of the wedding, she come down the aisle carrying 4 roses. She carried it well, too. So after the wedding, it was kind of messy, because they start throwing rice, and the rice had already been cooked. So we left the crowd and went up in a room, put our things together. 9 years passed. We had 10 young'uns. We doubled up 1 year, thought we'd take a year off. So she said, so what? Adam and Eve was made to order. They had trouble. One day, Adam said to Eve, Eve, damn it, you done put my pants in the salad dressing again. What did Adam and Eve do in the garden? Eve wore a fig leaf. And Adam wore a
now I
hole in
get it. Oh, there's a song attached to this.
A great song.
Yeah.
But real quick, this is the last thing I'll hear. It just goes, Royal Palm, train my woman left me on.
This is the Royal Palm. Train my woman left me on.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fucking love Abner Jay.
Yeah.
Man. Georgia legend and legend for me. So second nominee, Abner Jay. And finally, have you guys been to Clifton's?
Yep.
Clifton's cafeteria downtown?
I don't know.
So Clifton's, very briefly, Clifton's is a cafeteria in downtown Los Angeles. It's 4 stories, and running up through the middle of it is a fake redwood tree, and it is one of my favorite places in LA because it's basically Disney World before Disney World existed. It was open in the 30s, and it's still open today after they spent 3 years remodeling this place, and it's a bar, and it's got a cafeteria, restaurant, and then there's a secret tiki bar upstairs. It's the shit. We should go. Good night. We should.
I don't think I've been there. You're doing a place. Oh, that's a curveball, Ripples.
Oh, no, I'm not doing a place. I'm just setting this up for the guy who started Clifton's because he's my favorite person in LA history.
Okay.
His name was Clifford Clinton. So Clifton's is a combination of his first and last name. Opened this restaurant in 1931. He was born in the Bay Area in Berkeley to Christian missionary parents who took him as a boy all over the world. He went to the South Pacific. He visited China, got to visit Africa, was a very well-traveled guy.
I like how earnest Rivers' nominations are, because I this is coming from the guy that nominated the Insane Clown Posse.
Well, no, I'm going to get to why this dude's badass. Anyway, when he was 15, he published a book that was called Managing Restaurants According to the Gospel of Jesus Christ.
I like this guy already.
Where essentially he told his dad, like, hey, this is how we should run our restaurants now, because his parents ran restaurants up in the Bay Area. And essentially the main tenet was give away free food to poor people. That was the main thing. And his dad fired him.
Well, that's not a good idea in LA.
Well, this was in San Francisco where this happened, but you're right. Yeah, this was not for him. He was like, yeah, you're insane. Get out of here. So for this guy's entire life, he basically just hates his dad and any sort of like stand-in for his dad, and moves down to Los Angeles, opens up some of his own restaurants. It's 1931, so it's the height of the Dust Bowl, height of the Great Depression. You've got hundreds of people just coming into LA with nowhere to eat, nowhere to go, and he opens up this cafeteria on Broadway. It's at Broadway and 7th. It's called Clifton's. It's still there, and it attracts all of these people because the slogan of this place back in the day was "Dine free unless delighted." So if you didn't, you could just get free food there, basically.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. And you had all these people flooding into downtown. And the other thing was he refused to enforce any segregation in his restaurant. So, like,
did they have that here?
Well, in some places it was de facto segregation. It wasn't Jim Crow. Like, there wasn't laws on the book, but it was definitely de facto in a lot of places. And he refused to enforce that shit. And so the police hated this guy because, first of all, they saw him as attracting a negative element to the downtown area by giving away free food.
Because his whole thing was that he would go for an economy of scale. So it would be basically, as long as he made a half-cent profit on every meal, he was, on average, he was good.
Yeah, and
he ran it so efficiently that he was able to stretch it out.
Yeah, exactly. And he also ran in the upstairs of this place. There was a school where he was teaching people how to get bank loans for small businesses and how to run their own restaurant and stuff like that. So this dude is just like the best. Meanwhile, he's pissing off everybody at City Hall because they see him as basically ruining downtown with attracting all of these hobos to his restaurant and stuff like that. So he basically gets hired by the city to be on a grand jury to investigate waste in the hospital food service department. And he figures out that everybody in LA government at the time with an appointed position paid their way into it, and the top to bottom is fucking corrupt. So he then goes in to start investigating the police, who already hate this guy. They tried to blow up his house.
The police tried to blow him up.
Yeah, so his house in Los Feliz exploded one night. The back half of it, he lived because him and his wife were on the other side, and somebody saw a car leaving the scene. They took down the license plate and tracked it It was registered to City Hall. It was like basically an unmarked cop car.
What year was this?
This was 1934 was when this happened.
Oh, so this is pre-Jack Webb.
Yeah.
Before he cleaned it up.
Yeah. This is pre-Jack Webb. And so the police, the next day, his private investigator that he had hired to actually look into the police department gets in his car, starts it up, and his car explodes. And this is also in Los Feliz. So now the district attorney, who is corrupt as fuck, has to open up an investigation that he knows will eventually bring him down. But because there were 2 unexplained explosions in Los Feliz and the cops are terrible at killing people with bombs, he basically had to like investigate himself. And then at the end of it, the DA, the police chief, and the mayor all resigned in shame because this dude who opened up this crazy cafeteria basically collapsed the corrupt power structure of Los Angeles. And all of them, basically all the mob guys, Bugsy Siegel, Mickey Cohen, a lot of them saw greener pastures in Las Vegas. So you can kind of indirectly credit him with Las Vegas as well.
He fought the law and he won.
He won. Like the dead Kennedy. So anyway, those are my 3. Clifford Clinton, Abner Jay, and William Howard Taft.
All right. Who do you think? Good night.
Well, I don't really want any fat people in the Hall of Fame except Jackie Gleason.
Okay.
So I think it's obvious that Taft should get the fucking boot, man. Just like
I was going to go Abner. I was going to go Abner Jay for that amazing story about his music being great, first of all, and also the pants and the salad dressing. I mean, come on.
That's hilarious.
That's ridiculous.
That's a great joke.
So there's that, and then also Clifford Clinton.
All righty. Cool. Well, goodbye, William Howard Taft.
Yeah, so...
Was anybody surprised by that?
No, I guess not, but I can't...
The vote was split anyway, you know.
But at least we got to talk about Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
And it's good that you had a local guy, too, Rivers. That gives us a nice little local flavor.
Yeah, I wanted to throw in somebody from LA.
The other 2 good choices, Taft, was he set up as the fall guy, Rivers?
I don't know. He was, I guess so. Oh, well. We're William Howard Taft.
I think Taft would have enjoyed that.
Howard Taft had a great big smile and a great big laugh, great big belly, great big thighs that slapped together when he walked by, measured in clean, had a quarter ton.
Yeah, that's the 2-man gentleman band, William Howard Taft.
I can't believe these 2 jabronis sang a song about me.
Yeah.
They piss me off more than these young bucks.
Their records aren't released, they escape.
All right. Good night. Let's hear the.
Oh, it's the good night hour. Well, I will try to be as succinct as possible, but I have here in my hand a list of 3 things which could possibly go into the Hall of Fame. We try to make this as quick as possible. Number 1, I have a famous. A Texan, if you will, even though he's from, I think, Louisville or something like that. But he's still a Texan in many ways. Many people might think this guy is an asshole's asshole. Some people might think this guy brought obnoxiousness to an art form. But this man, I tell you, is something altogether. Any man who has seen my nominee and who remembers when my nominee, Eric Embry, saved the Sportatorium from the combined forces of Skandor Akbar and Tojo Yamamoto will remember that this man who was overlooked in that other Hall of Fame.
I'm surprised you didn't go for Stan the Lariat Hansen.
I was thinking it was Stan Hansen, but I love Eric Embry.
Well, Stan Hansen is in every other Hall of Fame that there is.
Oh, so
it's like, Jesus is in the Hall of Fame too. That's why I didn't put him in there. I'm trying to. This is someone who's not in yet.
Okay.
Stan's in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah, that's true. He's in a few Hall of Fames.
Here's what pisses me off. This is why I went with Embry specifically. Miss Texas used to be his rat valet when he was a heel in Memphis. And if you have ever seen overweight, this is a fat person I will have in the Hall of Fame. If you've ever seen overweight platinum blonde heel Eric Embry in Memphis, it is obnoxiousness to an art form.
Yeah.
And he should be in the Hall of Fame, not his valet rat, or at least the both of them should. Eric Embry, when he was a heel, he was like every like Roger Klotz type, like childhood asshole.
This is just like an extended shot of God Bless America playing
as a man picks up the trash.
Spandex, wrapped in like wrapping paper ribbon.
Yeah, find us on Twitter. We're at the Good
With
Spot.
a mullet.
We'll put this up. Eric Embry Hates America is fucking incredible.
When you own somebody like that, that's Eric Embry, man. That's Eric Embry.
This guy got owned by garbage worse than Iron Eyes Cody. And it's so evil, yeah.
And somehow this guy got real over as a baby face too in Texas.
Oh, wow.
And he does things like argue with the cameraman sometimes. Cameraman, I told you last time by sticking that finger in my face, man. Like I said before, I was so rudely interrupted, man. This is my home, it's my family, it's Texas, man.
Yeah.
And I'll talk for as long as I want.
This guy's a piece of crap, but he does it. He lives like a piece of crap, but he does it like a champion.
Exactly. And that inspires good night every day. And one thing I like about Kevin Owens, who's out there now, is I think he has a Canadian type of this obnoxious.
Oh, he is very Eric Embry like.
Yeah, he is.
Have you noticed the small? I wanted to say the small detail, and this is just a brief sidebar on modern wrestling that Kevin Owens does. He's doing this new gimmick, the Face of America, and they project his face huge on the ramp. Which, by the way, I can't wait till the next time we all go see wrestling because me and Goodnight and Pat laugh so fucking hard when they project Roman Reigns' fist on the ramp where it comes down and smashes his letter.
Yeah,
but now the Kevin Owens, his gimmick is they're projecting his face on the ramp, and there's this little detail that I don't know how many people have noticed, but
my personal favorite though is Randy Orton and his sperm that's projected.
Oh, that weird snake.
The snake. That does not look like a viper. It just looks
like a sperm.
It looks like spermazoa. Yeah.
I know.
But there's this little detail where they project his face on the ramp, and Kevin Owens will not walk on his own face. He walks all the way around it, and I was like, that is so fucking great.
Yeah, but there's one thing he did that pissed me off.
What's that?
Is they had this, those damn things you don't want to watch when you're on YouTube and things like this. And they had one with Kevin Owens tell me to wear a seatbelt. Number one, I do not like seatbelts.
Yeah.
And number two, this is even more hypocritical and stupid than when Jake the Snake would do the anti-drug PSA.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess if he pisses...
Let me tell you something about that Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, whatever the fuck you call him nowadays.
But yeah, that was Eric Embry.
Eric Embry.
Yeah. Obnoxious. He saved Texas. He saved the world, man.
Yeah, that's
Eric Embry.
That's Eric Embry.
No,
I agree. Eric Embry.
Yep.
Number two. What is seduction?
No.
Seduction is destruction. Violence in its own way can be golden. There was one man, I think, whose name sings out in history as the greatest purveyor of historical violence and ruthlessness.
Violence.
And his name, well, we call him in English Ghengis Khan. His name was Temujin. He couldn't read, and he was master of the biggest empire the world had ever known.
In history.
In history in that day. Genghis Khan did a lot of bad things. Technically
got a lot of bad feelings.
Got a lot of bad things. But here's the thing: he was never an asshole about it like a Hitler. There's something systematically and wonderfully ruthless about the great Khan that makes him, I think, a real role model for life. And it's hard not to admire the ruthlessness of Genghis Khan.
Oh yeah, the sharpening of tree trunks and then staking, maybe 20 to 30 enemies on it and then marching that into battle.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that myself, but if they're already dead, what's the difference? As long as you scare the enemy, it can lead to shorter things in the short time. I admire his ruthlessness.
He would get he would invade a village, and after beating their army, would get all of the villagers to march in front of his army so he could fight the rest of them. So they would have to go through their their own people first.
Yeah, using hostages. Smart. Custer did it at the Washita.
I do like his armor. His armor, very impressive.
Cool armor, cool little mustache. Had a grandson that probably smoked a lot of dope, or at least Coleridge smoked a lot of dope and wrote poems about him.
And Xanadu did Kubla Khan.
Yeah, stately pleasure dome decree that he wanted to see some more Olivia Newton-John, you understand? Because he was in Xanadu, you understand? Granted, he's probably recognized in other halls of fame somewheres like Mongolia and all this, but anybody who's a horse-riding, Mongolian wrestling, arrow-shooting, tribe uniting, China conquering motherfucker like Ghengis Khan. I admire a man like that.
And arguably the biggest progenitor of humanity on Earth. That's true. They think that 1 in 500 people is related to Genghis Khan. On the
I hope I am. God, I hope I am.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you heard about this?
Yes, yes.
They did a genetic survey of like Central Asia, and then they expanded it out to China, Russia, and they started noticing that there is this certain gene that just everybody has, and they're like, well, holy shit, and they narrowed it down and basically figured out this came from one person.
And it was Genghis Khan?
And they figured it out. They're like, well, there's only one guy who was in all these places and did have a penchant for the ladies, if you want
Wilt
to put
Chamberlain,
it
right?
very mildly.
Scott Steiner?
Yeah. He and they think that it couldn't have been that he's the only person who, because obviously he would come into a village, he would conquer a village, and his advisors would be like, bring him the prettiest girl. And he apparently just knocked up women from China all the way to the edges of Europe.
I like this guy's style.
And literally they think that, like, there's no way to confirm this because they've never found a body of Genghis Khan, which is also cool. He's like, he just disappears off into the mists of history.
I don't support pillage.
Well, no, pillage is bad.
I don't say that pillage is good, but it was a fact of life in those days.
No, well, that's the thing. It's we've had since the 1200s to get over it and just appreciate the scale.
I mean, all ancient armies pillaged the Romans and the Greeks and everyone else.
But so with Genghis Khan, he just left a trail of pregnant women in his wake and sired a lot of the world.
A trail of war and also a trail of love. Killed a lot of people, but brought some new ones in too.
Yeah,
even in the odds, daddy.
Yeah, but so apparently, like, most people have this little bit of Genghis.
That's the yin and the yang, man. That's balance. That's cosmic balance, and that's why I admire him a lot.
Yeah. Wow, and it gave us this incredible video. We'll put this up on our Twitter.
It's like a Mongolian village people.
It really is.
Yeah. They're Germans, but they're Mongolian.
Wait, was that Telly Savalas?
Yeah.
Look, Telly Savalas is in the band.
Who loves you, baby?
Genghis.
And they were in like the Eurovision Song Contest. So like if they weren't in the Eurovision Song Contest,
there was a lot of Mongolians
they were
that voted
meant for
that year.
sort of thing.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, who's the last nominee?
They also have a song called "Rockin' Son of Genghis Khan." If you're interested.
Okay, third one is this is one underrated performer, I think. I don't know if y'all know the name of Ken Berry.
Oh.
Some performers, they never get this guy was a comedic actor, song and dance man. Sometimes they don't get a role that people remembers them for
I thought you were going to go with Telly Savalas.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Too easy.
He's got a star on the Walk of Fame. He's
exactly. Too easy.
So this is like an underdog Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing, because if we just have the same thing as everybody else's Hall of Fame, we have to stick our dicks out. I mean, necks out sometimes. You understand? Because mine is longer, because I don't have much of a neck. But anyway, Ken Berry. Ken Berry was a star of Ep Tube. If you've ever seen Mama's Family, he plays Vinton, the son, and
Mayberry RFD.
Mayberry RFD. When his career never recovered when that was canceled.
Yeah,
but this guy, I guarantee, watch any episode of Mama's Family, and you will see this guy who is a consummate professional at just acting like a baboon. And anytime, but he can act like a doofus. But here's the thing: he was an old vaudeville type song and dance guy. So anytime Ken Berry is on a show, there's always at least one episode where he'll do a little bit of song and dance, and whenever you see him do some of that,
we got
it is a
clip of it
treat.
right
I
here.
got some right here.
Oh, we ain't got a barrel of
money.
Oh, I didn't know Vicki Lawrence was going to sing in this.
We'll travel along, singing a song, side by side, through all kinds of weather.
Yeah.
All right, I like Ken Berry, but this clip is making me want to take my vote back.
Oh, come on.
You don't like Vicki Lawrence?
You don't like
I don't like
Vicki
the way
Lawrence?
she sings. I liked her. I loved
She's
her on the
playing
Carol Burnett
Mama.
show. I loved her on the Carol Burnett show. Whenever Mama sang on the show, I thought it was too gauche, or they were trying too hard.
You don't like That's the Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia?
She sang that too?
Yeah, that's Vicki
Yeah.
Lawrence. Yeah. Did you not know that?
As Mama?
No, not as
but
Mama.
As herself. Yeah.
No, I don't care when she sings as herself. When she sings as Mama, I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
When I like the Mama character to be salty. You understand? I like the sassy side of Mama, not the friendly, funny side.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean, they're
okay,
doing it for
gotcha.
the church, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, no. Hey, F Troop is
F Troop was one of the greatest
One of the
television
greatest
shows of all
television
time.
shows of
and
all
I always
time.
thought that Wrangler Jane was better looking than Ellie Mae on the Beverly Hillbillies. If we're talking about mid '60s sitcom blondes,
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, you know, you had what was it? Larry Storch, obviously.
Larry Storch, classic.
Yeah.
The Irish guy, Sergeant O'Rourke.
Forrest.
Forrest Whitaker was
no,
it?
not Forrest
No, Forrest.
Ghost
Tucker.
Dog?
Forrest Tucker. That was it.
No, I
wasn't it?
don't think it was Forrest Tucker. What was it? Oh,
He was in the Sands of Iwo Jima.
Yeah, I know. He was like one of those guys that also was young, but he also looked like he was like a jillion years
Yeah,
old.
and he always played Irish guys and
It's
usually
Forrest
Army
Tucker.
guys.
Forrest Tucker.
yeah.
The only episode I didn't like was the episode where they have the Beatles type band in it, because even as
Yeah.
a kid, I knew this is an anachronism. For
Oh yeah,
Western.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Vanderbilt was my favorite character.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the blind one, the
Yeah,
one that never had his
lookout.
glasses. Yeah.
and he was up in the thing. I like Dobbs, who was another actor who
He was the one that played the bugle that
bugle
always
and
had the
couldn't play
arrow
it.
go into it. Yeah.
and he was a Southerner. He's another really underrated
Yeah.
actor. He was the dad in Teen Wolf.
Oh, okay.
And he was on the Rockford Files a lot. Another great character actor who just never had that like big lead role. That
But yeah,
everybody
Ken
remembers
Berry
him
was
as.
great on that show because he was like he played the straight man on it.
He was like the accidental hero.
But he was the accidental hero because he sneezed and caused a retreat. You know.
abruptly sees retreat and reversed it to victory.
Yeah. Accidentally sneezing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the whole F Troop song, but I won't torture anybody with it. Colorful sights and nobody takes a licking. Where pale face and red skin all turn chicken. When drilling and fighting get them down, they know their morale can't droop. As long as they all relax in town until they resume with a bang and a boom. F Troop.
Wow.
This wasn't the one they used on TV though.
Oh,
This
really?
is
Yeah,
the
this is-
karaoke came
Yeah,
out.
this is that sounds like something that was actually done by a real band, like a real like the Oak Ridge Boys or something like that. No, F Troop was such a great show.
Really was.
Yeah.
Really was. The Hakawi, which apparently was an old joke. We're the Hakawi. It was originally We're the Fuckawi.
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah.
And then there was Wrangler Jane and the
Sexy. And she was
whole
only
whole crew.
she was like, I didn't even know this years later. She was only like 16 when she was on that show.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, there was sort of some scandalous Hollywood things going on in the background in Fort Courage, and it wasn't O'Rourke Enterprises, if you know what I mean.
O'Rourke Enterprise.
It was like Sergeant Bilko meets one of those cavalry westerns.
I
that
know,
was
but
so
the
big at
funniest thing
time.
about like all of his schemes, like it's O'Rourke Enterprises, and they were just like just the worst.
It
Schemes
was always
ever.
stupid things like getting the Hakawi to make like souvenirs that they could sell and dumb
at the
shits like
fort.
that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only thing that's worse than like O'Rourke Enterprises might be Tully Blanchard Enterprises.
Which consists of J.J. Dillon.
Well, no. Apparently, I was listening to a review of an old episode of Saturday Night, the 605 show. Apparently, J.J. Dillon claimed that Tully Blanchard Enterprises had more equity in it than Mobil or Exxon.
But unlike Mobile, it doesn't sponsor mystery on your local PBS. Anyway, that's Ken Berry. We get sidetracked, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So those are them nominees. Here, Ken Berry, Ghengis Khan, and Ken Berry.
I'm going Genghis Khan, and I'm going Eric Embry.
Oh, really? I was gonna go.
Embry and Berry.
I was going Embry and Berry.
Yeah.
But so we gotta decide. We have to tie break in a way. This is the first time in which we've dealt with this sort of thing. So, I mean, we're split, right? And, we can't leave it to chance. We can't leave it just to a coin flip. We can't leave it to odds and evens.
I know the great debate of all time, Genghis Khan versus Ken Berry.
That's tough, right? That is gone
like
on.
Sophie's Choice.
Yeah, it's gone on throughout the history books, throughout, the common dialogue.
That epic blood feud
here's
between Genghis Khan and Ken
Well, here's a
Berry.
way to think about it. Let's boil it down to who these people are, and then maybe find the middle of the Venn diagram. Okay, so if you boil it all the way down,
is that like the guy in Triple X?
Yeah,
yeah.
If you boil it all
Venn
the way
diagram.
down, all the way down, you've got.
Well, here. Okay.
Well, here's what I was thinking. Listen, what is Ken Berry? At his core, he's an entertainer.
He's an entertainer. He's a television star of the 70s and 60s.
What is Genghis Khan? At his core, a badass.
Yeah, he got around though.
Yeah,
in a way, it's almost nepotistic to vote him in.
Yeah.
Since we're all related to him.
Here's the thing, right? We saw that video of Genghis Khan, the band, Genghis Khan, and we noticed something about one of the members, and we just kind of thought about it first. Like we kind of, when we saw him, we all were on the same page.
Who's a person that's an entertainer, a star of the 70s, and also a stone cold badass?
And looks like a member of Genghis Khan. Telly Savalas, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that oversight, folks, but for me, Telly Savalas is one of those things like Shakespeare, Homer, and the Bible. It's so much just a part of your everyday life. It's easy to overlook.
Just for the song If. Just for the song If. This is on Top of the Pops. This was on Top of the Pops. This was a hit in Britain.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
man. If I could be a woman for just one day, I'd want to be that woman sitting there right now.
If a picture
could paint 1,000 words,
paints 1,000 words.
Oh,
it sounds like the universe speaking to you.
No,
it's better. It's Telly Savalas.
Everybody talks about we need to have Morgan Freeman. That's the voice of God. This is the voice of God, and these are the words of God.
The penguins are marching.
I mean, this is a song,
baby.
This is a song that was written by Bread.
Yeah.
And performed by the band Bread.
Yeah.
And he managed to take a song by the band Bread.
Yeah.
And just make it the complete 180.
Just because he took a little bit of that Greek spice and made it into a sort of pita, a sexual
I want to
pita
hear
bread.
more of this. This is so...
Yeah, let's keep it running.
Yeah.
Oh, man, look at him.
Then where am I to go?
He looks
Nobody
so
looked better
awkward.
without hair, too. Not even Vin Diesel.
He looks so awkward. He's like,
You're all
I'll
that's left.
kill you for it.
Well, when you're a lover like
Well, yeah, I
Telly
know.
and you have to hold back like that, it's
Yeah, I
not
know.
natural.
He's restrained.
Yeah.
Look, he's a gourmet. He's sniffing the port.
Yeah.
He sniffs
Well, he
the
likes
port
the
wine.
bouquet.
Yeah.
You know? I think this thing's corked. Bring it back, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that video is just sensitive.
Yeah. And Telly was in many ways like very much the inheritor of ancient Greece.
I know,
find.
right? He sums up the Hellenic spirit.
He really does. You see, in like the 5th century, there were so many highlights and glories from Greece, but in the 20th century, it was all just wrapped up in one man, who was Telly Savalas.
I mean, they had to go through the process of fighting off the Nazis and fighting off the Italians.
well, shit, they should have just brought Telly in. There wouldn't be too many of them left. I mean, because he was in multiple war movies, too, you remember. Killing Kelly's Hero was his best one.
I mean, he was Archer Maggot. He was a deviant, and he was
It was an unconvincing New Orleans accent, but it was a psychologically fascinating character.
I know. And, I have a feeling that he probably creeped Jim Brown out. And to creep Jim Brown out, that's a tall order.
Yeah.
Because that man is bad to the bone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the stabbing sex substitute scene. And the part where he's in the watchtower and goes, "Those men's souls will face damnation comes judgment day." Remember that shit?
Totally. And that looks and that delivery is so much better now that you still have your chipped tooth.
Yeah, I know, thank you. But I think I might have to fix it because it makes shit harder to eat.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, world.
As a musician, as an actor, as a fictional cop, as an uncle to Jennifer Aniston. As a person that sings seductive songs to Christmas trees, which he did sing that song "If" to, we have to allow Telly Savalas.
I think it's just manifest.
So
that's our Hall of Fame.
Our Hall of Fame.
Let's go over it. So this is the the very first
Inaugural
class of the Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame.
And we're going to induct one person every week, but this is the nucleus. This is the core. This is the first group of people.
Yeah.
So obviously the first inductee, James Brown.
James Brown, the Alpha and the Omega.
Yeah, he's the godfather of soul, the hardest working man in show business, and the inspiration of this podcast and its title. So James Brown, Don West, for making dreams come true.
Yep.
Letting us have the ability to possibly open our very own dream store.
Yeah, he doesn't just make dreams come true. He makes dream stores come true.
And giving it to us on stretch pay.
Yep.
Yeah, your reputation within the Goods from the Woods community is Gem Mint 10.
Yep.
The Shockmaster. The Shockmaster, Uncle Fred.
Uncle
Fred
Fred.
Upman.
Yep.
Probably the biggest botch in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, some botches, they make a highlight reel. Other botches become legend.
Yeah,
that is legend.
If you for some reason have, made it through all the episodes of this podcast and not looked it up, just punch in Shockmaster on YouTube, and even if you're not a wrestling person, I guarantee you're going to laugh your ass off.
Shockmaster is absolutely amazing, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, in the history of comedy, let alone wrestling, one of the funniest
in the history
things
of television
that's ever happened.
And
it was all like a Deus Ex Machina, because if it went right, no one would remember this shit or care.
Yeah.
Because it was a terrible gimmick if it went right.
I mean, your stormtrooper helmet glistens of silver.
Yeah.
But in this Hall of Fame,
It's gold,
you
baby.
glisten of gold.
Yep.
So Shockmaster, you're in. Clifford Clinton.
Yep. LA's greatest citizen. A consummate. He is the real life McNulty from The Wire. He lives to piss people off via his need to play by the rules.
Yeah, he for the food that you brought.
Yep.
For feeding the people.
Yeah.
Humanitarian, giver.
Yep.
Business owner. Survivor of assassinations.
Yeah,
Taker
hell
downer of corrupt officials
Yep.
and elected officials. You're in. Abner Jay.
Abner Jay, the last minstrel man. Georgia hero, American hero,
one man band,
one man
band, pants full of salad dressing.
Yep,
covered in salad dressing.
That's such a funny joke. I love that joke.
No, we'll all have to steal it. Don't anybody listen to this episode.
Yeah. Eric Embry for standing.
The eyes of Texas are upon him
for
right
saving
now.
Texas
and the world.
And
for just obnoxiousness.
Yeah, and for
littering,
and for assault, and for denigrating the spirit of America.
Yeah,
but doing it with style.
Doing it with style. Doing it with a wink and a glint in his eye.
And his lazy eye.
He didn't hit him. He didn't, but
he threw garbage.
Because you got to stand up to false idols sometimes.
You do. You really do. And Eric Embry was a destroyer of the falsehood.
He was
of
a
the
trickster
world.
figure.
He really was. Like a Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. So Eric Embry, you're in. And the final member, which, come on. Telly Savalas.
There you go.
The intersection of Ken Berry and Genghis Khan. Telly Savalas. Who loves you, baby?
I mean, frankly, we could have gone with Yul Brynner. But the thing is...
Well, that's next week, baby.
Yeah.
But you know what? By the time he would have got on the air, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
For if.
Yeah.
For if alone.
Yeah.
Telly Savalas. And those are the first 7 members of the Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame. If you have a problem with that, bring it up on Twitter. All right?
Yeah, tweet us. If there's somebody that you think should go in one of these weeks, tweet at us. We're at The Goods Pod. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TheGoodsPod.
And if anybody has the feeling to defend 4 non-blondes, maybe 4 non-blondes might end up in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah, who knows? But it's up to you. It's up to us. It's up to the spirit of this podcast.
But it's not up to the spirit of America.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Spirit of what?
Take your ribbons and go home.
What makes his arms look bigger?
That's true.
Yeah.
I know I tie, well, not around my arms, but I use ribbons like that sometimes. I have a short neck.
That is a horrifying image.
Like a power bird.
No, it looks like a choker.
Yeah. All right. So that's the first 7. James Brown, Don West, Shockmaster, Clifford Clinton, Abner Jay, Eric Embry, Telly Savalas.
Wow.
That is a noble crew, if ever there was.
And we need, but we need to get some women.
Obviously,
in here,
yeah.
too.
So, we'll
Oh, they'll come up. Believe me, there's a lot of ladies I think I want up in this thing.
Oh man, well that's our Hall of Fame episode. Listen every week for more Hall of Fame entries. And Pat, what do they do when they get to iTunes?
Rate, review, subscribe, nominate for whatever, I don't know. 5 stars, like we're Kenny Omega wrestling anything, and tell a friend, share the word, show the attitude of gratitude.
Because if y'all don't show the attitude of gratitude, fuck you, baby.
Oh man, here's Telly Savalas with "Who Loves You, Baby."
Starts to kick you around and you find yourself flat on the ground. Well, it's a sure one to 5 there'll be someone to jive you and try to keep bringing you down. Now for a while you might take that abuse and convince yourself to stay loose, but then one day he'll throw you away and say you're good for nobody's use. But then I'll come your way, turn your blackest night into day. When you're needing it bad, cause of rough times you've had, I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna say, who loves you, baby? Who loves you, baby? By now you ought to know. Who loves you, baby? Well, I can't always let it show. Who loves you, baby? By now you really ought to know. This is one thing I don't want to blow. Baby, baby, won't you tell me what I want to know. Baby, baby, won't you tell me what I want to know. If you wake up one day feeling ugly, thinking you're 10 or 12 pounds overweight, but just know I don't care if there's gray in your hair. If there's hair at all, I think that's just great. Now this carnival life that we're riding gives no one the room to start hiding. So I don't want to hear that you've turned a deaf ear to my words and started backsliding. Cause then I'll come your way, turn your blackest night into day. When you're needing it bad, cause of rough times you've had, I'm gonna look you straight in the eye, baby, and I'm gonna say, who loves you, baby? Who loves you, baby? By now you ought to know. Who loves you, baby? This is one thing I don't want to blow. Baby, baby, won't you tell me what I want to know. Baby, baby, won't you tell me what I want to know. Baby, baby, won't you tell me who loves you, baby? Tell me what I want to know. I'm the one.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.